So, reflection on my project, how it felt to actively listen, it was actually um, quite challenging. And what I mean by that is that it is definitely a skill that takes some time to master. You will definitely have to practice the active listening techniques and probably need to review the material again. But it is definitely something that I'm planning on using in my career. Um, Explain my rationale for choosing the questions that I ask. I ask actually um, only a few questions, like the one for what happened after the nerve block. I asked that one because it appeared that the person that I was interviewing was at the end of their story, and they paused, and by the look on her face, it didn't seem like she knew where to go next. So I asked that question basically to move her thoughts from the actual nerve block to um, then the surgery. And I thought that it, at that point it actually helped to lighten the mood a little bit. It seemed that the nerve block itself was actually a pretty traumatic experience for her. But then by asking about, what happened after the nerve block, and then asking the question about her arm being numb, and how did you actually transfer from one place to another, without actually being able to use your arm, actually seemed to lighten the mood a little bit. Um, And when I asked the question about, what was rushed, um, it was for clarification because I didn't understand when she said that she felt that her procedure was rushed. I asked the question about what was rushed um, because at that point, I didn't understand whether or not she was speaking about the nerve block or the actual surgery. And then at the end, when she seemed like she had finished speaking, um, I wanted to see if that was an experience that she would do again. Did she find any type of benefit out of it? And based on her answer, I would assume that to be a big fat no. Since she didn't say she wanted to have it, she specifically actually said that she would not have it done again. And then whether or not my questions were effective and why, I think I've answered that mostly, but when I asked the question about what happened after the nerve block, that was to get her to move in her mind from one transition to another. And then when I asked if she would have it done again, I asked that one um, for clarification as to basically if it was it was, and based on her answer, it wasn't that it was the experience of the nerve block or the bad experience of the hospital staff having misinformation. It was the actual aftermath of the procedure itself that would cause her to not actually have that procedure of a nerve block done again when she has another surgery, if she has another surgery. Um, And when I had officially, originally at the beginning, asked her about the clarification of when the nerve block was dying, um, you know, was it prior to, during, or after the surgery? I asked that to get a clarification on the order of how things were actually being done. So I think that my questions were pertinent. I think they help to clarify and solidify her responses and the way that her rationale was moving along. Um, and again, I think that um, to actively listen to someone is a very useful skill that is probably needs to be taught sooner than what most people are hearing about it. I think that is all of the questions that I needed to answer for this. So, thank you.